And then I'm tapping this. Tap it, don't push it, tap this, and then I'm orange. Let's see which ones we got. We got that one I doubled, that one, I can print all this for you.
And 11, excuse me, 111. This is not something spiritual, it's an address. It's also a person. No, a field, a whole field of people. Technology, are you safe? Or are you not safe?
I have not looked into any research with associations or how psychology works. I guess projection, or we'll see. We'll figure out what we find. But I know the sensory definitely connects to these memories. So what I'm going to be sharing now is how I transferred the transference, which is the highest skill in education. Synthesis, transference, right? So using that, whatever you learn in a small group setting, a classroom, and take it into the real world. At least that's how I learned it. Maybe it's a different word now. I don't know. So we're going to choose technology, which was lime green. Technology is lime green because this person's favorite color is lime. Goodness, and the things in my house were lime green. Especially a broom. This broom, which is how I learned what Neptune was actually going through. Because he's scared of that broom. This cat taught me more about PTSD than the doctors did. The doctors just wanted to wipe their hands of it and just kind of disregard that, even though that's a very serious diagnosis. So the first question should be, do you know your trigger? So let's write that down. If you have a patient that says, I have PTSD diagnosed during this year, the first question should be yes or no. Do you know your triggers? It's too hard to answer what are your triggers, because the person might not know and might not know what a trigger is. I didn't know what a trigger was. I had to memorize it. And the way I learned how to validate the trigger was to write it like tiger. Grrr. The more R's, the more severity and intensity of those triggers, right? So now we're changing it from 111 technology. 111 is now associated because of an individual who shared with me something disturbing. And this is an address in Chicago that I went to help somebody in advocacy for dental care. It was an office in a building, and it happened to be the Grubhub headquarters.
Odor. Really obnoxious, but that's the point. You have to be able to share your chronic pain with someone who's safe.
When I finally read my review, and now the color red. So I saw it, and now the new association is made. Pretty exciting stuff. The stuff we're going to learn about. Okay, let's continue.
Fumbling with odor. Really obnoxious, but that's the point. You have to be able to share your chronic pain with someone who's safe.
When I finally read my Reeve reports for Reeve therapy, David Reeve, which is actually really quite helpful once I'm able to do the exercises, because I was so sensitive, I couldn't do much. But the massage was the only thing that was effective, and it wasn't in the report.
It's definitely not like I remember it. They might not have it open. Let's see if we can find a special spot.
It's right here at my hip. This is part of the Reeve PT. But instead we had to talk about the dogs and the vacations. Why isn't massage in the first notes? Maybe I read it wrong, but I just need to know that massage.
So I'm wearing line, so I'm having radiating line pain. Looking at a different device, a TV, and there's in my feed, just put California wildfires. I can actually have it on in the background. Just have to have noise, so it might as well be daily news. Great, and we're doing exercises. I'm going to share some of them. I'm looking for one story I just watched, but I didn't have the history on. I think I'm getting closer. Just that they are having, they're getting help from a fraternity. So a fraternity that helps people, doesn't harm people. That would remove trauma for me. So maybe it connects. It is also forcing me to relook at the videos, and I remember.
Stella, come here, girl.
Hand deliver meals to firefighters on the front lines. Just a small handful of the acts of goodwill, large. But it shows its best in these worst of times.
The best of it.
On a much faster Dax. With Dax's support, the Lions blew out the Vikings and secured the top of the night. The Lions had a huge Vikings would have had on the bell.
Themes in this video. Beats is a beatdown. All these animals have had something happen to them.
The connective thread is these people.
Tap this, and then I'm
Whole
orange.
field.
Let's see which ones we got. We got that one I doubled,
Safe?
that one,
Or are you
I
not
can
safe?
print all this for you.
I have
And
not looked into any research with
111.
associations
This is
or
not
how psychology
something spiritual,
works.
it's an address. It's also a person.
No,
No, a
we'll
field.
see. We'll figure out what we find, but I know the sensory definitely.
Really obnoxious, but that's the point. You have to be able to share your chronic pain with someone who's safe.
When I finally read my Reeve reports for Reeve therapy, quite helpful once I'm able to do the exercises, because I was so sensitive, I couldn't do much. But the massage was the only thing that was effective, and it wasn't in the report.
It's definitely not like I remember it. They might not have it open.
La la la. Okie dokie artichoke. Hey Siri, what's 5 million won in US dollar? Hey Siri, convert 45 billion won into US dollar.
45 billion South Korean won is $31,245,877.80.
Well, I am really blessed to be back with some films. I'm watching Catherine Hahn, and maybe this is the end of that chapter. So for those that wish me a happy birthday, thank you so much. I will be sharing the efforts made to stay within the boundaries with everyone. And the first thing is, if a company does not consent to recording, Peter Holston consented to recording when I explained. I'm on the board of directors. I'd like to know who works here. Like, how does this program work? How many buildings are yours? As a board member, I'm not even familiar how this works. Do you consent to this being recorded? And he said, yeah, absolutely. 2 times with the president as well. So that implies, okay, great, trustworthy, right? They don't remember what they told me. Well, I don't need to record it. It's on replay because my sensory is up with any type of technology. And
so most of us are not going to have these existences with pop culture, celebrities, politicians, larger-than-life figures that we'll never meet. But we do have these everyday lives with people with the same behaviors. People with the same behaviors, and that's our connected thread.
a phone call. Face-to-face is better, but a phone call will suffice. Because FaceTime, that's like real.
I really didn't want to go. I was comfortable at home. I was scared of the world and the people. But when I got into Loyola, my godfather said, you better go.
When I was in England
so compare smarty is the first words that bubbled out of me on Periscope. Compare or MC. I was filtering it. Because MC, the letters, not EMCEE, were going to be important later. And now I realize it. The body and the brain and God will only give you so much you can handle. It's true.
Okay, so I don't have to keep showing it, but you can get a lacrosse ball or something hard to dig into those facets.
I do believe this is the fight for our lives, and I do believe the internet was invented to help us understand it. So, for those that are using the internet to warn us, a public service announcement. Let's apply what we see in these, I guess, social media, the people that make the news, right? The people that need to stay in the news to stay relevant, that they're on our minds. And that's what she's doing. She's making associations. So I made associations too. But the associations I made was to make sure that I never forgot people. When the words were of somebody telling me they don't care. Here's the evidence to prove it to you that they don't care, over and over again. I said, I don't believe you. That's what the abusers did. They tried to isolate me from family. And they tried to tell me that I'm worthless. And I said, I don't think so. That's not what I'm hearing from the other people in my life. And that's why my family bubbled up. So really, it doesn't take much to do advocacy. It really is the words of those that are going to stick forever that we can now work with. So I made YouTube channels to get me out of the house. So it was my words over their words when I had no words. And the words that were coming out of me live streaming, there was just noise, just forcing myself to talk when I lost my voice because I was afraid if I did not speak, would it go away again? And that's it. I'm expressive. And this person was doing things that were contradictory and strange and saying stuff constantly. I want a wife that cooks and cleans. And now I'm in a psychological adrenaline rush of cooking and cleaning to remove it. But the quantity of it. What's the quantity? Well, homeless advocacy. When did that start? I can go back in my notes, I guess. I think it was around 2020. And the other thing, cooking and cleaning for individuals with suicide and addiction. Because the point is to just continue the message. You matter. You come into my home, it's an invite only. You don't have to worry about anything to remove something else from the past. So I've been doing this system forever. I just have to figure out what I'm doing because it works. And that's why we don't have to deal with the worst first. It is suicide, but it is also the people, the love letter, the thank you note to those that showed me that never do this. Do the opposite. Don't already discredit yourself as a powerful human being with the ability to connect your brain to the moment and the experience to do good, to help others. The 2 phrases I get most often is, well, I don't know how much I can help, and I'm not equipped to deal with this, but don't you want to be equipped? And actually, you are powerful. So it's the desire. Not many people will have the knowledge of advocacy. The thing I wanted to offer the hospital settings to say, this can actually really help you because you have to use facts in order to make decisions. And the goal is to make sure that you give the person the first response that will not trigger them.
instead of purposely triggering them. And I think that's the difference. All right, so here's the word, and here's the best stuff. The queen, who's rare, a rare individual who took her duty seriously and is a serious role model for women. I look up to her for so many reasons, because I work. I want to work. I got removed from a classroom and I could not do sports or move around and make my body do what I want to do. And those are the two things that I realize remove that adrenaline. But as I relive it again and again and again as you hear it, I also know that I just have to adapt without freaking out. The exposure to the healthcare system that school system did is exactly why I have to go through things kinesthetically. I learn differently now. So I'm going to open up all the notations to everything that was created in order to remove PU, the zoo, Lincoln Park, where I had this creative spark. And I have spoken to some people with PTSD who say they have had a creative moment and then one day it goes away. And I was waiting. Are all the poetry going to go away? Are all the songs in my head going to go away? Are all the moves in my body going to go away? And yeah, it happened, but I also made documentation.